how American schools create violence and stupidity? School fights every day.
American students are violent.
Oh, damn!
Oh yeah, and we're also kind of dumb.
Only 37% of high school seniors were academically prepared for college, math, and reading.
Damn! Where the f did y'all go? UFCU? Damn, bro. Why you 37%? Gang, I'm not gonna, I was ready for college in the 9th grade, damn near. I had a fight where senior threw a student off the stairs. Gabriel, what was the craziest fight in y'all high school, bro? This is my boy, I'll call him D, right? In my high school, there was a thing called freshman beatdown. I never got beat up when I was a freshman because, like, you know, I had Nick big brolic ass. So like, yo, that's Nick, brother, leave him alone, he good. My boy D, he was a freshman, he kept going around saying, fuck the seniors, fuck the seniors, fuck the seniors. And they were going through classroom and classroom looking for that, bro. He used to sit right by me during geometry, bro. Like, I look over to my left, he's not there. That nigga was, yo, I don't know what happened to that nigga, bro. They got different angles.
Courses.
Why are so many American adolescents so violent and uneducated? Because our school system is absolute garbage. 44% of American high school students experience school-related violence. 22% of students reported being in a physical fight. In the US, school fight.
Have you ever gotten in a fight in school? Yo, I only got in one fight. It was in middle school, but like middle school. There was this one dude. Actually, fuck, I'm gonna name drop that. Him. His name was Calvin. He was in 8th grade. I was in 7th, right? I was just being annoying. I was like, you know, haha, you won't do nothing. Ha 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 ha. He picked me up, slammed me, and I was just so, I was like, oh, like, cause I'd never been hurt before, like by another who was not my brother. I went out the classroom crying. I got in fights every day in high school around 5 times. Damn, what you fighting for? What, your parents' honor?
Fights happen all the time, and for petty reasons. Hardly anybody is shocked when a fight breaks out. And this violence isn't only between students. It's not rare to hear about fights between students and teachers as well. Some students have assaulted their teachers, leaving them severely injured. There are 2 big reasons why fights are so common in America. The first is because school authorities put very little effort into stopping violence. As punishment for school violence, students are usually suspended for a few days or receive a short detention. Some students even get away with it scot-free. Students don't fear the repercussions of their violence, so they are—
Yeah, that is true. Have you ever been suspended, bro? I was a troublemaking ass kid, right? I got suspended like total, like, cause I was a bad kid, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like total, all throughout high school, like school in general, probably like 34 times. I've been suspended like 34 times, right? Every single time was so boring, bro. I used to be jealous of the people that used to like get suspended and they still got they still like used to have their free. For me, when I was suspended, I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't go outside. The only thing I could do was just sit in my bed and rot and do my homework. Cause like they used to send you all your homework for the week. The only thing I could do was my homework. Like the most exciting part of my day was my fucking homework. Oh, big tough guy again. I'm not saying I was tough. I said I was a bad kid. I didn't say I was a tough kid. I said I was a bad kid. The fuck? That's a whole different thing.
Much more inclined to fight. And another reason why fights are so common in America is because social media
I'm dating a sped kid.
glorifies these fights. Students will record and upload these fights onto TikTok and Instagram and get millions of views. This has led to a culture which treats school fights as entertainment and encourages students to fight for praise and attention. The constant violence in public schools has left many children to fear going to school.
He's terrified to come to school. Every day is the same thing, all day, from morning till the time they get out, different fights.
But school fights aren't the only source of violence. Bullying is also a massive problem in American schools.
Yo, I was a terrible kid. You know what's crazy? There was this one dude, they said I bullied, bro, because I think I said this story before, right? I used to take this dude's popcorn because I didn't have enough money for school lunch, right? I used to take this nigga popcorn. It was like a fucking Among Us lobby. Like the dean of students came in and they had a vote. The dean of students came into the class, they said, hey, if you guys think Michael bullies like so-and-so, raise your hand. I was like, yo, I'm good, bro. Nobody's gonna vote for me. 80% of the hands in the classroom raised, and I was like, I'm getting voted off. Like, bro, no, I didn't vent an admin, no, cause like they were like my friends, you know. I was like, oh my god, they got my back. I remember looking at this one girl. It was this one girl. I remember like it's like it shit went in slow mo. She went. I'm like, you fucking bitch. Do you remember this corny ass shit?
What's good? What's good, nigga?
Square up! Go ahead, bro. Niggas is talking. Everybody on y'all phones, though. Oh, y'all the real cowards. Record that, too.
Yo, ain't nobody trying to hear this shit, bro. I'm trying to see bloody fists. Move. Blah, 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 blah. Boring. Boring.
22% of middle school and high school students report being bullied at school, and half of all students have experienced school-related cyberbullying.
That shit is not real. Hell nah. I remember there was this one dude, he was getting fried on one of our group chats, like a group, I think it was in like middle school. He was getting fried on one of the group chats, and he reported the whole group chat. Oh my god. Now, it was not the group chat I was in, but he reported his whole group chat. That was fucking crazy. He DM'd the girl, and then she laughed at him, bro, and then and they were sending some crazy memes. They were sending some crazy, and there was also some noodles of some minor girls. So you know how that turned out, bitch. CP. I ain't talking Chris Paul.
160,000 American children miss school every day in fear of bullying. A Yale study found that bully victims are between 2 to 9 times more likely to consider unaliving themselves. In America, it's not uncommon for a child to unalive themselves because of bullying. This bullying isn't just an issue of students, but
that's kind of sad, bro. I mean, if this real bullying happens, but cyberbullying, I'm still not hearing that shit.
Schools and faculty are also responsible for this. Students often face very minimal consequences for bullying.
The kid throwing punches was suspended for 3 days.
Yes! I remember I got suspended for throwing a pencil for a week. I can assault someone and get suspended for 3 days. I threw a pencil. I'm not gonna lie, the pencil did hit a nigga. It was like a pencil with those fat ass erasers. I threw it at the nigga, it hit him. That was a week. A nigga did assaulted a nigga for 3 days.
25%
punches.
He's throwing haymakers, bro.
Was suspended for 3 days.
3 days?
25% of teachers see nothing wrong with bullying, and teachers only intervene in 4% of bullying incidents.
But teachers don't make enough. Teachers don't make enough money to break up a fight. Man, fuck them kids. I don't want to give a fuck about the teacher either. No.
Here's a video showing a school bus driver
and about high school lockdowns. I think they're kind of stupid because if we're teaching we're gonna all go to this secret location, we could be safe from the shooter. It's like, bitch, you're educating the shooter too. It's like the Americans giving the Germans their war plans, nigga. It's like
encouraging a student to beat up another student.
Oh, encouraging? Oh, that's nuts. That's crazy. But bus drivers don't make no money either, so.
In Indiana, 10-year-old Sammy Toys was constantly bullied at school. He would come home with bruises as kids would beat him up at school and on the school bus. He was chased, poked, punched, and stuffed into a garbage can.
Nah. Oh, wait, no, bro, no. That's too much, no. You know how much you have to hate it? The stuff in the garbage can. He had to owe somebody money, bro. No. I'm not laughing. But that's just crazy. They ripped that shit straight out of a 13 Reasons Why. I've never heard of that shit happen in real life, bro. I've never heard of that shit happen in real life. What type of hater do you have to be?
Instead of helping him, Sammy's teachers punished him for, quote, disruptive conduct. Sammy's parents contacted the school 20 times about this problem, but the school did nothing. On May 5th of 2024, Sammy unalived himself.
Oh, bro. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, bro. R.I.P. little nigga. Alright, that's just depressing, bro. Damn. I'm not laughing. That's just not funny. Like, you're saying don't laugh. I'm not laughing, bro. That's I always joke at everything. That's just not funny. Little nigga, he was 11 years old.
His bullies never received a single consequence for their actions. If his school had stepped in, Sammy would still be alive. This kind of tragedy has happened in multiple schools in multiple states across America, all because schools have failed to take action. This is the same school system that breeds school shootings. There's a strong link between school shooters and having experienced bullying. Adolescents who have been bullied at school are 49% more likely to carry guns. Our school systems program violence and hatred into students, so it should be no surprise that school shootings are so common in America. But school districts put very little effort into addressing and fixing the root cause that leads to school shooting incidents. If schools actually stood up against bullying instead of always letting it slide, school shootings would decrease drastically. The American school system
Nigga had the gun from Fortnite. Oh hell.
Generations of toxic and violent individuals who have learned that they can get away with hurting others. Violent kids don't suddenly grow out of it one day. They simply become violent adults. But the only thing worse than a violent generation is a violent and uneducated generation. America spends $857 billion annually on K-12 schools, which is $16,280
Nigga, I ain't never seen no 16 racks. Hell no, where the fuck my 16?
per student. That's more money per student than any other country.
Nigga, when's the last, have y'all ever seen them 16 racks? Hell no.
But America ranks 26th in math and 10th in science. Only 26% of 8th graders are proficient at grade level math. One large reason for this is a shortage of teachers. Do you want more high quality videos like this one? Then subscribe.
In the middle of the, come on, bro. Damn, this shit getting juicy. Honest to God, bro, as a fellow YouTuber, I can respect that though. I can respect the fuck out of that shit. Kid killed himself, sub to my channel. Come on, bro.
Right now. Alright, back to the video. American teachers are paid less than the typical working American.
Are we really?
American teachers work an average of 53 hours a week, 7 hours more than the typical working American. This is because teachers have a lot of duties beyond simply teaching, such as grading, lesson planning, and administrative tasks. And to make matters even worse, students are often disrespectful or sometimes even violent towards their teachers. As a result, the teaching industry has become very undesirable for many people, leading to a shortage of teachers. Between February of 2020 and May of 2022, 300,000 public school teachers quit their jobs.
Damn! That's almost, Jesus!
That's roughly 3% of the workforce. Because of this shortage, teachers are now assigned massive class sizes, which makes it harder for each student to receive the specialized help they need. This also means that school districts have lowered standards for hiring teachers in order to make up for the shortage. The number
I don't teach them low shits either. Why would you? He's not saying this, but they still don't get paid shit.
increased by 69% from 2022 to 2023. Now, American schools are full of terrible, incompetent teachers who are hurting the country. I remember back in high school, teachers would assign us massive packets of reading and questions. Meanwhile, they would sit in their stupid chairs and use their computers instead of actually teaching the class.
If you would just get up and teach them instead of handing
No, yo, he's trying to make a serious video. You cannot put this video in here, bro. You can't put this video in here, bro. This video is supposed to be serious, dude. No way. Instead of giving him a freaking packet, yo.
Instead of actually teaching the class.
if you would just get up and teach them instead of handing them a freaking packet, yo.
The voice of a generation.
Kids in here don't learn like that. They need to learn face to face.
In America, it's very common to come across classes where students are forced to learn everything by themselves rather than be taught. And no matter how much students and parents complain, school districts almost never do anything about it. Due to the shortage of teachers and the protection from teachers' unions, school districts can't just replace teachers who aren't doing their job. With such terrible teachers, it's only natural that students aren't learning properly. And another big problem is the lack of funding. In America, a big portion of funding for public schools comes from the tax.
Life finna be different. This shit won't fly in college, gang. I bullshitted my way through college, bro, and I still got this fat ass degree, bro. It depends on your major, though. Like, real shit, if you're gonna major in some bullshit, nigga, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But like, if you're gonna do like an engineer, nigga, you cannot bullshit.
Taxpayer money of the community. This means that schools in wealthy communities are well funded, but schools in low-income communities are poorly funded. So if you live in America, your quality of education and therefore your prospects of success are largely determined by the community that you live in. This problem can be seen in low-income cities like Detroit, where only 3% of 4th graders are proficient in math. Low-income.
Let's not glance by that. 3%? 3%? Oh.
Income students enter high school with literacy skills 5 years behind high-income students. Only 14% of low-income students graduate college, compared to 60% of high-income students. It's quite clear that schools in lower-income communities need more funding. America spends $857 billion annually on public education. So where is all that money going? Well, a big chunk of it is going towards administrative staff. From 2000 to 2019, the number of administrative staff increased by 88%, and the number of principals and assistant principals increased by 37%, while the number of students and teachers only increased by 8%. This shows how a disproportionate share of resources is going into administration.
Have you seen the percent of illiterate people in America? Yeah, I seen a video about it like literally a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's jarring.
Functions rather than directly supporting students and teachers. Maybe if funding was actually allocated correctly, our academic performance wouldn't be so low. Another large problem is that schools have allowed students to be lazy. In America, teenagers between ages of 15 and 17 spend an average of 1 hour a day on homework. Meanwhile, American teenagers spend an average of 8.5 hours on their phone daily. 1 in 5 teenagers report watching YouTube almost constantly. And parents—
that shit won't stop. That won't stop. Hell nah, that won't stop until you get older, nigga. I was watching a Pokemon ROM pack last night to go to bed. Like, hell nah, ain't no shame in my game.
are also responsible for this problem. Only 43% of kids say their parents check their grades more than once a month. As a result, students can laze around and waste their time without being held accountable. Education in America has been in a steady decline for a while now. The government tried to fix these problems by implementing academic standards called the Common Core, but this actually made things even worse. Common Core sets standards for what students should know at each grade level to ensure that students are learning efficiently. And now this all sounds good on paper, but in reality, Common Core has only hurt the education system of America. First off, Common Core operates with a one-size-fits-all approach, which assumes every student learns at the same pace. This system takes power away from teachers and schools, who understand their students best, and instead dictates students' learning based off the government's own ideals. And the biggest flaw with Common Core is the confusing math methods it imposes onto children. You have 8 seconds to solve this math problem. Go.
Shit, hold on, wait. Oh my, 35. Whew. Oh, yes, 35. Come on, bitch. 35, nah.
Was your answer 35? Well, you get 0 points. If you didn't use the quantum linear
never mind. Oh, bitch ass. I was gonna say, nah, we all stupid.
Dimensional isolation method to solve the question, then you didn't do it correctly. This is the BS that every child in America goes through. You see, Common Core requires students to solve math questions using confusing steps and algorithms. You see, Common Core requires students to solve math questions using confusing—
Why is he using a grid? What the is this shit, bro? Nigga using a pie chart for multiplication. This shit sucks.
Steps and algorithms. If students don't use these methods, they automatically fail the question.
Yeah, that's a fact though. Oh my god. Have you ever had those teachers where you have to show your fucking work? It's like, damn bitch, it's literally common fucking knowledge, bro. What do I have to show my work if I'm dividing 144 by 12? It's obviously 11. Trolling. You didn't use a grid? No, because I have an IQ higher than a walnut. Show work for 1 + 1? Yeah, I was like, what the f? Like, what do I have to quote Sigmund Freud or some shit? Y'all remember those multiplication tables, like timetables, like those sheets?
Even if their answer is correct. As a kid, I had a very hard—
Oh my god. You just look like you look like this craziest chess player ever, my nigga. He had only 3 paths in life, either chess, calculus, or League of Legends. I'm trolling. Obviously, he did
Common Core math, which led to me constantly getting low scores on my tests and classes. It was insanely demoralizing and I felt stupid. Well, it turns out I'm actually really good at math. In high school, where Common Core is less present—
my brother! Oh my god, yo, this is a great picture.
Learning calculus was very easy for me, and I scored very highly on my exams. I also got a near perfect score on the math segment of my SAT.
What? Damn. Yo, my SATs were so bad, bro. I got like thank God I was an athlete, because holy shit, I was fucking dumb. I got like an 1100 on my SATs. Like, god damn. I need to do it again? Really? Like, a 1260 isn't good enough? Oh my god. Yo, what the f? 1260 is not good enough?
So how come learning basic algebra was so difficult for me as a kid? Common Core has created a very confusing system of learning, which has led many—
I took the SAT. I heard it's not standard. I heard it's not standardized anymore. Like, you could take the ACT or just take nothing.
Students to learn
less. Did you take the ACT?
Efficiently and hate their classes. Common Core, more like Common L.
That was a terrible joke, my brother, but like, this video still slap.
You might be wondering, how does terrible education affect America? Well, the effects are really bad. Because so many students receive terrible education, America now has the worst educated workforce in the industrialized world. 54% of US adults have a reading proficiency below the
16 through 74 years old. Like, even Grandpa Douglas don't know how to goddamn read.
6th grade level, and 21% of US adults are illiterate. This is embarrassing, considering we are the wealthiest country in the world. Now you know how bad America's school system is. So how do we fix it? Well, it's actually quite simple. Firstly, to address violence and bullying, schools need to hold students more accountable. Currently, students barely receive any punishment
How
for
bad was that? You saw the last. Hold on, look.
bullying. Schools need to hold students more accountable. Currently,
There's a live leak. Oh, there's a live leak watermark on this shit. Damn. Yo, he had to have got mauled. Huh, your video, your beating was so bad it made it on live leak.
for bullying and violence. There should be more severe consequences, such as mandatory community service or being expelled. This seems like a very simple fix, but very little progress has been made. To address the shortage of teachers, America needs to pay teachers more.
Yes!
I mean, we clearly have the money to pay them. Where's that $857 billion going? We also need to remove these teachers who do nothing but hand out packets. The school system is paying them as they contribute to the academic downfall of the country. The problem of low-funded schools is also a pretty simple fix. Public schools need more funding from state and federal governments. Also, Common Core needs to go. There has not been any academic progress attributed to the implementation of Common Core. Common Core is only hurting the academic progress in America. I recently made a video about the horrible education systems in many Asian countries, where students—
Hell nah, hell nah, bro. They don't have the option to. I heard like even like a 94% is in the A in I think Japan. Like that shit is crazy. A 94% will not get you an A.
Students study up to 16 hours a day and get physically punished. These countries have the exact opposite problems that America has. Countries need to find a middle ground between these two extremes and maintain a system which develops hardworking and competent students without sacrificing their mental health for success. The truth is, this goal isn't too far-fetched.
Why the hell did this do? What the hell did this have to do with school? Yeah, I just realized the solution just become LeBron James.
Take Finland, for example. Finland ranks number 7 in education, higher than China and the United States. Yet, students in Finland receive very minimal homework, and the majority of primary and secondary school students enjoy their education. This shows how—
Isn't Finland like one of the happiest countries ever too? Yeah, or I'm thinking if Finland's like the happiest country in the world, right? LeBron James had a 4.2. My king does it all. Yeah, Finland is just, maybe we should all just move to Finland. Actually, no, it's way too cold. Fuck that shit.
it's definitely possible to create a school system that's both effective and enjoyable. If we take the right steps, we might be able to bring our countries closer to this ideal school system. Hello guys, thank you for watching. I work really hard to edit these videos.
I can tell, nigga.
So please like and please subscribe.
Yeah, that was a great video, my boy. I'm not gonna lie, that was a great video.